Well, hi and welcome back to my channel. This is the speaker that was removed from the Cossor Melody Maker in some of my recent videos, and it was rubbing and it was causing distortion, especially at the bass end. Now, what I found was that despite the appearance of it, it is actually rather cheap and nasty. This looks like you've got a huge magnet on here, really powerful ring magnet that would give you some strong dynamic response from it. In fact, what I found was when I removed the dust cap in the centre, then there was a tiny centerpiece, which is, there's the size of it. There's a washer that was on there. But to avoid the rubbing, I removed the washer anyway. And under that was not much smaller diameter than this, was the magnet. And I thought at first, oh, that's just the pole piece. The magnet was about that deep. But in actual fact, when I removed that, because it turned out to have a nut in the middle, just holding it in, it was so weak as a magnet. It really was. It was very ineffective. Now, I know magnets can be re-energised by sticking a coil of wire and passing high current through a coil of wire around it. You can re-energise a permanent magnet. But I was surprised at how weak the magnet actually is. And the outside bit doesn't contain anything. There's no magnet in there anyway. But what I was able to do was stick some pieces of credit card around the magnet to position it, and then do up the nut quite firmly to hold it in place, and then re-glue back on the dust cap there with a bit of that white woodwork glue. I forget the name of it at the moment, but that's holds together really well, and it does work. But the dilemma for me is whether to actually use this in the radio, considering it's, despite the size of it, it is actually rather grotty. And it's surprising that they went for something like this when the rest of the radio is so good and the quality is amazing from it. But anyway, this is connected up to a source, so I'll turn it up a bit.
Silly, pointless Matthew is poised for victory. And all I can do is wonder what the adrenaline must feel like as he senses that he has his quarry in his sights, that he's played with all of us long enough, that it's time to go in for the kill.
Yes, it's working, but I'm driving that quite a bit. So if that was used in the radio, that would be working the output valve fairly hard, because the magnet is so poor that to get a decent amount of volume from it, you have to drive it fairly hard. The speaker which I put in, although smaller, is at least a branded speaker, and it works amazingly well. The sound quality is so good. I don't know if I've heard a radio of that era, of that type, that sounded as good as this Cossor does. So I'm reluctant really to refit this speaker to the radio and maybe just keep this as a test speaker, because I'm convinced that it's not as good, despite it being larger, it's not as good as the speaker which I fitted in there. So any comments would be welcome, but that's my feeling at the moment, that I would just I'll probably put this in some little box or something and use it as a test speaker. But it is now working. I managed to stop it rubbing, but dropping it isn't going to help it, is it? But really, I'm not likely to refit it to the radio.
Now at the new time of Thursday mornings at 11 on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
I don't think I can stop speaking at this speed now. It's really annoying.
So the quality is okay if you turn it up, but I mean, I'm using this quite powerful hi-fi 35 watts per channel, and I'm probably driving that.
To achieve Labour's goal of building 1.5 million homes in England within 5 years.
Which is a lot of power, really, more than the radio would put out. So its top-end volume on that one EL81 valve would not be terribly loud. Yeah, it would work, but I'm interested in what other people might think. I mean, the purists would say replace it. Some might say try and increase the magnet strength or change the magnet for another one. But then I'd have to tear all this apart again, and I don't know how much more it would survive. I've got a working speaker out of it, but I want to run with the replacement. Okay, so anyway, hope that's of interest to some people, and thought I'd just let you know the outcome of the speaker. Pity I didn't take pictures as I did it. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now.